Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome to the Singapore track guide Hotlap and setup. Start on the lap then, right where this orange part of the barrier is on the end, just before the 50 metre board. That's where you're going to commit to the final corner. You'll be in 6th gear, just a slight lift here just to start your lap off. Slight lift and then back onto power. Be careful of track limits because you'll be pushing track limits all the way around this corner and on the exit as well. Keep the car over to the right hand side, sort of half on the track, half off the track. And you look out for the safety car board on the right hand side here. As you approach this, we're shifting down, heavy braking into 4th gear, and then we want a nice early apex here. You want to cut as much of this corner as you can and get this car as straight as possible. For the little kink on the right hander here, follow this round and then brake in a straight line. 2nd gear on entry, short shift to 3rd, the mid apex, and then get on the power, get straight and on the power as early as you can. I like to keep the car more over to the left hand side for the run up to this next fast flowing right hander. Just at the start of the curb here, we're shifting down into 4th gear, and you want a late apex for here, and then again back on the power. Really push the boundaries on the exit here, be as close to the wall as you can without hitting it, because it's the longest straight on the circuit, or one of the longest straights on the circuit, and probably one of the best overtaking opportunities with the DRS, so you want the best exit you can possible here. And to sector 1 then, braking just after the 100 metre board, sort of just after the wall ends here. We're going down into 4th gear, beyond the curb on the right hand side. Throw the car in, try not to take too much of the curb on the inside because it will unsettle the car, but you want to sort of be on it. And then once again we're pushing the track limits to the absolute edge, half the car over, and you just want the left hand wheels just on this line here. You can really get on the power nice and early here as well, so there's lots of traction to be had there. Get the car back over to the left, and again the safety car board on the left hand side is your braking point. We're going to go down into 3rd gear and just roll the car through this corner. Again up to the Fanatec sign on the left hand side, and then get the car back over to the right hand side, up into 5th gear. Safety car board again is your braking and turning in point. 4th gear, and you want to turn in, it's sort of like a mid apex here, and get on the power nice and early, once again pushing it all the way out to the boundaries of the Rolex advertisement board on the right hand side there. One of the most committed corners, I'd say, on the circuit really. You've got to take a lot of speed through this left hand kink. It's easy to run deep, it's easy to hit the barrier on the left. Braking at the 50 metre board, and we're going down into either 3rd or 4th gear. I like to go 3rd just to get the car rotated a little bit more. You want just a normal kind of apex on that left hander. 3rd for rotation, 4th get the car nice and straight again, because immediately you've got a braking zone. Down into 3rd gear for this right hander, take a tiny bit of curb on the inside, don't take too much because you'll just end up in the wall. And then short shift to 4th, and then up to 5th, full throttle, get the car as far as the left hand side as you can, and just as you're turning in at the end of the black and white part of the wall there, just before the safety car board, you're looking to brake down into 2nd gear. You want a late apex on this hairpin, just to really get a nice straight exit out of it. Short shift to 3rd, and then on the power nice and early, pick up the DRS, and then just follow the track around, and then edge your way over to the left hand side. And then we're braking just after the 100 metre board here, so I'd say about 75 metres. And we're going to be going down to 3rd gear. Again, if you need a bit more extra rotation, then 2nd gear, but 3rd gear seems to be the best way fully around this corner. Mid apex, and then you want to be careful because you can validate quite easily if you use too much of this line here. I tend to get a straighter exit. I used to sort of be all over this, but in terms of consistency I prefer a straighter exit now, especially given that it's a massive long straight instead of turning right in a second. So 3rd gear around that corner, and then you're going up through the gears keeping it to the left hand side all the way down here. You can roll out to the right a little bit, but we want to be coming immediately back over to the left for this long straight. And again, for this new, well, the old part of the circuit, but a new way of approaching it, you're braking at the around 75 meters, so just after the 100-meter board, and we're going down into third gear. You don't want to take too much of the curb on the inside because it will unsettle the car, so you just want to rotate the car in nicely, short shift to fourth as you kiss this apex, just a slight kiss, just to get yourself back on the power nice and early. Don't take too much of the curb on this side either, you just sort of want to roll yourself onto it slowly or slightly. Push the limits on the exit as well, and then keep your car all the way over to the right hand side as much as you can. And just like the start of the lap, we're going to be in sixth gear by this point. Orange barrier on the barrier on the right hand side, just after the safety car board, you've got the orange block. You really want to commit into this corner, just a slight, ever so slight lift, take a little bit of curve on the inside, nice early turn in, careful not to cut the corner and validate. You'll be running all the track limits all the way around, and then over the line. You want to get on the power as much as possible, carry as much speed just to really finish off the lap strong. We'll get into a hot lap now and show you what that looks like all hooked up, and we'll get into the setup after that, and I will see you next week for Japan. And also I will be going live next Sunday for the 12 Hours of Spa charity race on Assetto Corsa Competizione, raising money for the Meningitis Research Foundation. So if you want to watch along with that, then I'll be live from about 8 AM, I think. 8 AM I'll be live from next Sunday, the 5th. And it'll be, the race starts at 9, quali starts at 8:15. And the race runs all the way to 9 PM. So something to look out for, guys. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment down below on how you found it, if it's helped you, if it's not, what would you change. So yeah, let's get into the hot lap and the setup. Okay, then, so let's get into the setup for the Singapore Grand Prix. 50-50 wings. You can lower the rear wing a little bit if you want to, just to aid in overtaking. But for overall balance, consistency, 50-50 is the way to go around here. But again, you can run slightly lower if you really want to, but I don't think it'll help in overtaking slightly during the race, but the back end will be a little bit dodgy. So yeah, 50-50 wings, transmission 55-50, sort of speaks for itself. Maximum rotation, want to be able to get on the power nice and early as well, out of really hard traction zones. Suspension geometry, front and rear camber all the way to the right, and toe out, toe in all the way to the left. Suspension, nice soft suspension compared to what we've been running in previous videos. So we've got 28 on the front and 7 on the rear, 6 front anti-roll bar and 1 rear anti-roll bar. Played around with the anti-roll bar quite a bit, but 6 ones where I've reverted back to. And again, the suspension, I went with the firmer suspension, but it didn't seem to work that well, because obviously you are using quite a lot of the curb, so you want the car to be able to handle that as well. And then the ride height, we're going 33, 37 for there, which seems more or less pretty standard nowadays, I would say. Brake pressure 100% as always, and then brake bias 55%. In the race you want to be using 56 or 57%, because it can be quite easy to lock the fronts up, especially into the hairpin and into the turn 2, the left-hander at turn 2. Can be quite easy just to lock your brakes slightly because you are going down to quite a low speed. Tyre pressures then, for this in time trial, this is what you want to be running. In the race quali, minimum tyre pressures. We do struggle a little bit with tyre temp, it's up to 22.2 on the fronts and 20.1 on the rears. But there we are, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. And as I said, I'll see you next week for the Japan track guide, Hotlap and setup, and I will also see you next Sunday for a 12-hour, 13-hour live stream, depends on what I can get away with, but definitely be streaming the entire race. So tune in for that one, and I will see you next week.